What a perfect tune to kind of start a stream with, huh?
Absolutely. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. Yeah, that ending was like made for a talk show. That da 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 da. Good evening. Yeah, let's ruin it. Yeah, so I see people are joining us all over the place. Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. We're here to talk about BitFuzzer, Modalics. We have a lot going on. This has been like one of the craziest times for us as individuals and as a company, I guess. So we thought we'd go up, on a short stream and show you guys what's going on with us.
So first of all, this is Or Lubianiker, co-owner of Modalics. My name is Eyal. And we got a couple of new plugins that were just released. One is Mindset Drums, which we've been talking quite a lot about. But the other one, which we released just a few hours ago, is I think one we'll focus on today, is one that's called BitFuzzer, which is a crazy distortion fuzzer bit crusher plugin that we're given for free until the end of the month. So while you're on the stream or whatever, go and grab it, and maybe Or will play a little bit from the spectrum of sounds you can get from the plugin.
Yeah, should I show the plugin as well? Might as well.
Show the plugin. Let me put something on screen. So I need to put. Is this your screen? Is this my screen? This is my screen. This is your screen.
Don't be so possessive.
I'll get.
This is our screen. So yeah, let's shameless plug. Let's keep mindset over here. Let's choose a loop and I'll just play a little bit and see where we're at.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 second. What's this? Nope. I have one I know. So this is just a preset called Riffer. What you're listening to right now is basically just the plugin, no amps, nothing else, creating all the tone. It's on a parallel output setting because with bass you always want to maintain a little bit of dry signal. So starting from left to right, there's the input section. It's a pretty, I guess it's the most simple plugin we've produced so far. We wanted to make it for a while and wanted to do something that's not like Beat Scholar or Mindset or just over the top. We have the bit fuzzing section here and an equalizer and a filter. So this is where everything happens. There's also a very cool visualizer that kind of shows whatever it is you're throwing into it.
Can you show what the clean signal sounds like?
Yeah, sure. So the clean signal will probably be also like a drop in volume, but it sounds like this. Maybe I'll boost it up a little bit so it's actually heard. Yeah, and then naturally, like all good distortion plugins, this adds a bunch of, yeah. So this is just like one preset that's fairly straightforward. It's a bit fuzzy, it's a bit gainy. There's some filtering going on. to cut off some of the harsh high end that accompanies this sort of sound. Yeah, but you can, let's just browse through presets a little bit here and I'll just play. This is a nice one. It uses, it's not as distorted, but I made it so you can just kind of add this really nice resonant low end to your sound. I hope this is coming through. But let me bypass again for a second and then show you what's going on with this preset. Would go well with some, I don't know, I'll just get a groove and jam with it for a second. Let's do this one and then bypass sound. And then on. So immediately you're getting this vintage kind of warm feeling going on. There's the dry signal still, so like a punctual tone, but then, you know what, let's listen just to the dry for 1 second. It's also filtered here through the master filter, and let's listen to the wet signal, just the plugin. So it adds this kind of honky mid-rangey tone that's also a bit crushed and saturated. And together, let's just reset because the preset itself has a good balance. And let's see what it does. So what's cool about this is that the filter sounds very musical and the saturation can be kind of fine-tuned to a certain frequency range, and not everything has to be like distorted. One of my favorite presets that Eyal made is called, I think, Fundamental or something like that, and it's just this massive low end coming through and kind of makes everything sound so heavy and beefy. Like this preset is called Beef because of that. And then you got all that stuff like pick bass, which, as the name implies, is good with the pick. It sounds like this. So this one has like a ton of clean signal, and the fuzz is kind of bubbling underneath, and it's a very nasty kind of sounding fuzz. It has a lot of crushing and I guess a decent amount of gain. 50% is where I'm at most presets, and it sounds like let's listen to a sustained note for a second, get a good grip of what's going on. So for me, this is beautiful because there's all sorts of crazy harmonies going on, and the fuzzing is breaking up in a very nice way. Yeah, fuzz is a bit tricky. I've never been really, that much of a fan of fuzz. I've usually been more drawn to distortions, especially for bass. But here, I'm feeling like we did something that maybe people can relate to, because there's a lot of ways to kind of tame the sound and make it very usable. Sometimes fuzz is either kind of overbearing and doesn't really allow you to play like you would otherwise. And in here, I feel like we really nailed a lot of tones that are highly usable and musical. So yeah, that's a quick run through of the bass presets. We can go in through some weird stuff. Like there's one that's called Vocal that I made. That's yeah, as the name implies, it maybe sounds cool with some more articulate playing. It's pretty cool. Like if you're gonna start a song or something and you want this really funky kind of sound. In this one, you really hear the hold knob. It's a wacky sounding knob. Let's check it out for a second. So just playing around with it, you can zone in on some crazy harmonies. You can even kind of tune it according to your pitch, which is weird. Creates really weird sounding areas on the bass. Yep. I find this sort of stuff very inspiring. I've always liked kind of getting stuck with a certain sound that's not my usual sound, and then maybe composing something through it. And this has a lot of those tones where you're like, oh shit, what the hell is going on? Okay, I guess I'll make it work. Yep.
Sounds awesome.
Cool. So
You know what's-
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, what's fun is to talk about how do you get to these sounds? Like, let's say you start from the init presets of BitFuzzer, right? And how do you like craft something to fit that fits your bass?
Right. You want me to show it right now?
Yeah. So
Okay, no problem.
let's start just from init, right? And I want to know how you're thinking, because the way we've done the presets, you sat with your bass, you made presets, I sat with my synths and stuff and made my presets, and then we joined them together. But I have no idea what's your process like when you're going from zero to the sound.
Usually it goes through like adding a bunch of distortion until like everything sounds super messy, and then I start to clean it up. It sounds funny, but it's really like there's something very gratifying about adding gain all the time, and I usually get stuck in that loop. But yeah, so at first I kind of it's more on purpose than it seems, because I really want to listen to the grain of the distortion and to kind of shape it, and then kind of I tone it down and I balance it. So I would do something like first of all, let's just listen to what happens when I get a bit more gain. So this is the signal just on the init preset. This already has a sound, so if I bypass this, you'll check it out. You can already listen that it kind of brings everything up a bit. And then if I start adding the gain, you can see the clipping taking place. So usually, depending on the bass I'm holding and how I tune the preset, like with what instrument, I try to get to the point where I'm hearing the low mid starts to resonate in kind of a harsh way, and that's when I know that everything will sound properly clipped. I don't know why, but usually in bass distortions, that's the way I found. Like, at least for me, that's what works. As soon as I hear the low mid getting a bit of overbearing and kind of disgusting, I know that it's a good place to stop and then just start to tone it down, start to kind of dissect what's going on. So in terms of gain, this is a good spot for me, even though it doesn't sound good so far. And then I might add a little bit of crush. Now the crush is interesting because the knob itself, it's something really nice that you did. It encodes like all sorts of different flavors. So on the first, I'd say, quarter, it has this very nice whisper fuzz in the background. It kind of, you can hear it as the signal goes down, the fuzzing kind of takes place. And then as I bring it up, there is like a point over here where you're starting to really get a fuzz sound. Everything's starting to break up. Yeah. So first of all, I tried to bring up the gain and then adding the crush knob to a point where the notes also sustain properly. Because if it's too crushed, you'll get gating. And I want notes to be able to sustain for like a full bar or a couple of bars, so I don't want to overload the crush, and that's what I'm going for. The hold is kind of interesting because of what I said before about the harmonies it adds. I usually keep it on 0, and it's the last thing I'll touch. Now, as I said, like most of my presets, I'll switch to parallel, and then listen first of all just to the wet signal. Usually what happens is that on bass, you want to high pass on the wet signal because you want to maintain the natural low end of the instrument and then get the effect happening from a certain frequency range. So this is just the wet, and you can listen that it has a ton of low end, and this will clean it up. Depending on the kind of distortion I'm going for, let's say right now we'll go for like a classic kind of massive fuzz tone that's a bit nasty. So I'll keep some low end in it. If I want a more focused distortion, I might even filter it above 400 or 500, but here let's do like 137, which is a great number. And then let's listen. Now we're getting somewhere, like you're hearing that low, mid, and low end cutting out, and then a more focused tone is emerging. And now, as with all distortions, you hear that nasty top end. There's some artifacts going on that you want to cut. If I was going into a cabinet or some sort of amp sim, it would take care of it. But here, we wanted to give like a out-of-the-box solution to those frequencies. So we have a very nice synth-style filter here that I can manipulate. Usually the sweet spot is around between 4 and 5K. Most of my presets are hovering around there. And then I'll use the resonance to either kind of boost that resonant point and get back some of that high end, or even like the opposite, just cut it. So if it's here, now we're in like a vintage kind of distorted tone territory that I really, really like. And if I boost it, you can hear the top end coming to life and kind of biting a bit more. Let's go for that more of that warm vintage sound, and let's supplement with the EQ. Now you remember what I said about the low mid becoming kind of nasty and overbearing when you're getting the gain up. I can kind of attenuate it here and try to get a cleaner tone. Maybe a bit more pick attack, that would be the high mid. Okay, cool. This is getting to a place I like. Now let's bring up the dry signal and listen to them, trying to find a good balance. At this point, I'm pretty happy, but I'll try and maybe find a nice resonant point on the master filter. Sometimes to even, again, like bring back some highs, or just create a nice little bump in some frequency that will sound good. Let's do this for a second.
Can you turn down the bass a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I'm just having fun and
just in terms of like
listening to a ton of bass on the headphones. You're totally correct. Okay,
or
let's pick.
Or maybe you could just use like the filter, the low pass filter, to just chop off a bit of the highs, and that will make it like blend better with the drums.
Cool. Yeah. I can do
Or
this.
you know what? Do it maybe with the master filter instead of that one. That might be a good.
Yeah, okay. So I'll bring this back up because it will be too dead.
Yeah.
Maybe cut a little bit more of the high pass, and then let's do.
But by the way, I want to say, I just want to say, shout out to a few people in the chat. So we have Eldar in the chat saying that he says he noticed that there's a lot of investment in very small details of the spectrum of sounds. This is something we really wanted. Like we wanted this to have like some, like you see now, awesome variety where you can make it scream, but especially with the filter, you can make it more mellow. That's why we added not just an EQ but also a synth style filter, so you can really dull the sound. If you have like a quiet section or just a section where you're supposed to be behind, we'll probably show more of that. Another question Eldar asks if the UI was written in C++. Yes, everything is written in C++. Or is not just a great bass player, he's also the main UI programmer and designer, but also the programmer. So yeah, we do it all in C++. I also want to give a shout out to TCG Tornado, who loves how the bass tone sounds. So
Yeah.
shout out to TCG. And our best friend Asaf Dar Sagol from Polyverse, who's our idol and best friend and best supporter, asks, will it gent?
Ah.
Can you gent, or can you gent with it?
Yeah, I guess I can. Well, let's use this preset. Fuck it. Like no reason not to. Sorry, 1 second. We have one of the best drummers of the genre ever, Mike Mallion, made a bunch of presets for MIDI files and presets for Mindset drums. Let's do what's this one? Let's just do. Yeah, I think that kind of answers the question. Usually, like, to be honest, this plugin can probably achieve a tone that will really be cool. I don't know if the specific preset I have here that will really be cool in these genres, but I found it that it really complements even just like just standard bass playing. So if I would use it as the same as I would like a preamp pedal or something like that. Just it's fun because it's a fuzz and a distortion to really listen to highly distorted sounds. That's what I said happens. There's like a rabbit hole that you're like, yes, more gain, more distortion. But if I try to achieve like a really nice tone that's just like good for a song, that's pretty easy to do. That's not necessarily like a distortion, only a distortion machine. That's something cool. So sometimes the fuzz can just be that sort of nice added harmonic layer behind a track. So let's try and do something like this. Okay. So this is sort of a tone that I would play actually like ballads with. I know it sounds funny, but I've played tons of really soft, Napolitan music with Noah and had a distortion pedal open all the time, because if you get it right, it's sort of a kind of a glue, for the tone. There's something that's it's basically like giving you more sustain and a bit more meat in certain areas. So yeah, that's something I just wanted to show, that even though it's a crazy fuzz crushed sounding thing that can even sound like this. Yeah,
This
there's
preset
also
has the best name, by the way.
yeah. So we basically made the plugin because of the tagline, "Luke, I'm your fuzzer," and then the preset came next. But yeah, I just wanted to show that it also has like a side that's very functional, and that's something cool that I guess a lot of plugins we like have a side that's all over the top, and also a side that's very kind of usable. And sometimes you're just looking for that special sound that's gonna unlock a track, and maybe BitFuzzer is that for you. So yeah, that was a pretty long answer. How was your process working with it? How about we switch seats?
Okay, so let's switch seats. So,
Yeah.
but you know, it's so interesting, you know, because I definitely feel like the use case of the bass is like so prominent with this. Even a lot of what I'll do with this is like synth bass. But let me show my screen. Okay, screen, great. So, can you hear my sounds?
Yeah.
Right.
Coming through nice.
So now this is gonna sound fun, right? So I don't know if you can see. Let's hope you can see my hands playing. So a few things that I'll do with this is, you know, I like to really abuse stuff like clavinet sounds, because clavinet is like the driest sound in the world. You know, it's like a right. So usually it's like one of these sounds that without like a wah or like a distortion or something, it's super dead. Like there's nothing with it. But if I open BitFuzzer on this, right? So this is just my clavinet sound, but with BitFuzzer, this is just the init preset. This is like.
Crazy.
This is just the init preset of BitFuzzer. I called it crushed ice, right? It's like an instant lead thing, and let's see what happens here, right? So let's say I have a riff that I double like. So with the gain, I get more distortion, but I can also like just completely filter this down, and let me switch. Let me just bring up the input so that everything will be super almost square wave like. So see if I play stuff like. So it actually sounds really big, right? It's really fun that you can.
It sounds
these in.
unbelievable.
Right, I have to remind you the clean sound of this is like you know.
That's ridiculous.
And it's just like the funnest sound. And I one of the things that I like to do, you know, let me turn this on, and if you even let me add some effect here, and I'm going to add like some delay maybe. So I think I should have some delay here. Right. So let's send the thing into some delay. Use my send. Go to the delay. This is some sort of delay. Right. So it suddenly comes alive, and then I can just control this with the cutoff. Right. So.
That was amazing. That's
This
really
is
cool.
so,
We developed this in such a rush because we were thinking like, let's get this out the door. We wanted to make this like ever since, I guess. This is around Beat Scholar, I guess. Is where we started to say, hey, like beat crushing can be really cool and musical. And then we passed this idea around for a while until like we decided let's just get this out the door because I guess like most of our plugins we went through how about that bit crusher algorithm thing, how about we do something, and now we were like, let's just ship this thing, and yeah, it's the first time I've seen Eyal actually make something with the plugin. We've worked mostly like separately and then kind of combined the work together, but it's such a cool thing to listen to that. The clavinet kind of sounds like, I know what it sounds like. It sounds cool. It's a good instrument, but then you're turning it into this monstrous lead sound. Yeah, beautiful stuff. Like,
yeah. Let me try another source of sound. So I'm gonna switch to this. Let me get that delay out for a second. Right. So this is my Wurlitzer. I'm adding a bit of tremolo there. Right? Now let's see what I can do with with BitFuzzer on this. Some of the sounds are going to be pretty cruel, even though they still sound pretty awesome. I can actually get some good leads, but some of the sounds are actually more subtle. So there's this preset called how do you say it? Vintify.
I've never said it out loud. I've only, but yeah, Vintify, like vintage.
Yeah. So let me just. Yeah. I'm just gonna play stuff that's super dynamic into this. I'll get the cutoff slightly more closed. Turn the input down a little bit. So if you can notice, it kind of drives only when I play slightly louder. So if I'll play, let's open the cutoff a little bit now. So if I play louder, it's pretty high gain, but if I play soft, there's very little gain, so I can control it how much drive with my fingers.
Beautiful. Wow. Aside from the plugin, you just played like really nice music. I could listen to this for a while. Really.
Thank you.
Just beautiful playing.
Yeah, and it's really all, because this thing is dynamic, so you can use something like the input, right? So you can push it to this place where, here I will get, full on drive on almost any dynamics. But if I keep it soft, I can use the fact that I have a dynamic source, right? And this is something I really like about these things, especially because the filter, right? Because if this was fully open, this might have been quite harsh. This is right. So this is a bit harsh, but with the cutoff closed, so even the higher gain sounds more smooth. Let's get this tremolo out of there. So let me try some other source. Let me switch to this thing, which is...
I'm envious. I only have this bass, and you're pressing buttons and switching instruments so easily. Well, I have like 7 more basses behind me, but...
It's not easy. I had to spend all this money to buy the synth.
Oh, yeah. Well, touche.
We have a couple of questions here. So TCG Tornado says, what OS can you use this plugin with? It's Windows, I want to say Windows 10 and up, or Mac OS starting 10, 13, I think, High Sierra and up. Yeah, you can just download it and see if it works. It's free. It's free, by the way. We have to say BitFuzzer is now free until January 1st. You can go to our website, Modalics.com, and just get it if you want it. But do it fast because it won't be free forever. So with something like this, so this is just like a saw. So when I distort this thing, let's go to the init preset. So when I distort this thing, if I crush it, right, fully crushing it will give it this 8-bit sound. But then I filter it back, add some gain to this. Let's add this delay back that I had before. Switch to mono mode. It's a lot of fun.
This sound is super cool. Can you bypass for a second and then bring it back?
Yeah. This is the bypass. This still has the delay. And with it,
It just makes stuff interesting.
yeah.
That's what I like about it. A lot of I don't know, a lot of saturators are more, I guess, you know what you're gonna get from them, but something here in the crushing gives this sort of very dynamic feel, like what you showed before with the Vintify preset with the more Wurlitzer, I think it was, with the dynamic playing. There's something about the beat crushing or fuzz or whatever that's very chaotic, but then very pleasing. That's the way I kind of describe it. That's why I tagged line that like make beautiful mayhem, because it feels so out of control, but then again it's kind of exciting. I guess that's something about music in general, that you want to be like pleasantly surprised constantly. That's why we want variation in every sound and every, like, when even with Mindset drums, one of our key points was how much do we need to sample for it to be enough controlled variation that's like pleasing. And I guess there's something like a similar concept at play here, that listening to all the different sounds you threw into the plugin, each one of them I was like surprised, and I wanted to listen to more sources and what happens to them when you play with the plugin. So yeah, that's kind of a cool thing, I guess, about BitFuzzer that you might not get from other plugins.
Yeah, let me show one last thing here, which is not going to be on any synth. I'm just going to use it on the drums. So this is going to be fun. So I'm just going to take... This is just one of the built-in grooves. Let me bring back this thing. So this is just one of the built-in grooves we get from Mindset Drums called Break the Ice or something. And I'm not doing anything. This is just like the default sound preset and one of the grooves. And I'm gonna add BitFuzzer on this. Okay, so this is a little bit too much, but let's start with let me just get a bit of the dry sound. I'm gonna just have a bit of crushing. And now I'm going to bring back the dry drums, right? So this is another cool use of the plugin that I really like. Right, so this is just the dry sound. This also sounds good, pretty acoustic. And I can just have this mixed, just either really high or the slower, so that there's a little bit of a bite to it.
Now, if you kind of, yeah, exactly what I was about to say.
So here's what I'm doing. There's actually two filters here. There's two filters here. One is the filter for the drive, and the other is like the master filter. So I can use the filter here as a way to kind of control, how many, how much of like a, what's the word, like how much of a point there is in the mid, right? So it's like I get a lot of resonance here, but then I filter this, right? Let's keep this the dry sound, and now the wet has this bite to it in the middle. You can bring it with the EQ as well.
There's something really cool about the gating effect that's coming on with the crushing.
Yes.
You're getting this like chopped up feeling that's very, very funky.
Yeah, this is just what it sounds like wet. I can have it less, right? But I kind of like it. It's chopped like this.
Yeah. It adds a bunch of funk to the.
Because the dry
sound.
adds all the sustain.
It's almost like a percussion track.
Hey, so one of our favorite musicians ever is now in the chat. This is Ruslan Sirota, one of the best piano players, composers in the world. Is in the chat, says it sounds good.
I think he has a new album out as well.
Oh yeah, come on, say something about the new album.
In what chat is that? Where are you getting all these famous people joining us?
Oh, it's like in the Restream chat, which is like a combination of like a bunch of chats from a couple of streams. Can I see where this is from? I think this is from YouTube. I'm not sure.
It says Facebook like on his picture. I'm not getting it though. We'll have to figure it out.
Facebook, right?
But you're showing the chat right now.
Is that what I'm doing? I'm showing the chat. Hide message from the stream. I have no idea.
Yeah, when you're clicking the messages, they pop up. But it's nice stuff. No, don't post the bad words people are saying about.
But hey, we got
bass sound.
Also, hey Rodrigo, who's just joined us.
Yeah, so we can. I guess we have to wrap it up soon. But we can take some questions if anybody has any.
Yeah. I have like yeah, like 10 minutes or something to answer questions. Ruslan says I have to use. I'll have to use this new shit you guys are doing for the next album for sure. So much thought has gone into this thing. Wow. Yeah. All right. So this makes me so happy because Ruslan is. It's hard to explain how good of a musician he is or you are, right? People should really check out his albums. This is somebody who's made albums with Stanley Clarke and Hiromi, and his solo albums are just like amazing things with like
Yeah.
string arrangements and like the most beautiful compositions and solos and stuff. And he and I collaborated on one track once. You can see it on YouTube, but it's he's like one of the most like sensitive musicians I've seen in action. Like he can just go into like a style and just kind of embeds himself in the style and be like have this like fluent way of playing it. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know for those here who likes jazz and fusion and Latin music and stuff like that. You should really check him out. He also has a few Grammys to prove that he knows what he's doing. Not just my.
I actually toured with him a little bit, and every night one of the favorite parts of the show, one of my favorite parts was just like, what's he gonna do today? What's he gonna play today? And just listening to him, kind of. It's one of those musicians where just by proximity you become a better musician yourself, and that's the sort of effect that this guy has. And this is also a good way to keep people in the chat. So if you don't want them to leave, you start to compliment them and just for 10 minutes straight say how amazing they are, and then they I bet he stayed for the compliments. So I don't know, but we love you, Ruslan. That's it.
So let's see if we get any other questions. I can see a lot of the Instagram chats. Maybe you can see stuff on your Instagram. I see Memo Garcia says thanks for the bass tips. I have to scroll through them because they don't show up for some reason.
You're welcome. Corrado, hey, I don't know if he's still around, but he wishes us a lot of success, which is a very nice thing to wish someone. Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions, just a bunch of people joining in and checking out our stuff.
So Rodrigo asks, what does this plugin do? So, or do you want to play a bit more and show what the plugin does?
Yeah, basically, you take this piece of plastic and you go. No, this is just a crazy preset, but it's a distortion, a fuzz, a bit crusher. It's a sort of mayhem machine that's very also very like musical and useful. I'll just play through the bass presets because that's what I'm holding right now. Having fun. Let's do. No, you know what? That's just fun. I don't know what to say. Let's do this one. I'm gonna skip a couple. This is a good one. It's called Riffer because you can just like pop on a drum loop. Let's do hard rock and then. So it's a fuzz distortion machine with a very nice musical sounding filter. I'm playing bass with it, but Eyal showed it works amazingly well with synth sounds and just about everything you throw into it. You can find a way to make it harmonious and interesting and kind of crazy in the best way. So I guess that's a short run through.
uh, uh, Big Bite Beats. Big Bite Beats says that using BitFuzzer as a soft clipper is awesome, and yes, totally. That's a lot of what's there. So I'm happy that you like it. Like it's meant to to do exactly these kind of things. Eldar asks if Eldar says we need more distortion, 6 slaps, and more slap tunes. Or do you know some slap tunes?
Yeah. Yeah, but I know what he wants. I have just the thing for it. Let's do.
Or can you open the screen with the plugin?
Oh, sorry. I'm just so used to you're just seeing me kind of going like this. I'm used to the screen being shown. Why isn't everything automatic? Let's do this for a second. So something like that is probably what scratches the itch he has. Yeah. Any other requests? Maybe a ballad?
All right, I think we got to go. I want to thank you all for joining us. This was awesome. We probably need to do more of those because I feel like there's so much to explore in in our plugins that we need to show. So maybe we should make like a constant thing out of this. Yeah, and this video will be up on all of our channels, in the next couple of minutes. So if you missed something, you can rewatch it, ask questions, and let us know what you think. Also, get BitFuzzer for free until January 1st. So go to our website.
Wait.
Get it.
I prepared something. There we go.
You prepared something? Here you go.
Check the screen.
Here you go.
It's on so you. I can't move it.
Where am I?
There. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So so go to modalics.com. You'll click a button and get it, and hopefully this will bring some enjoyment to people wanting to take the nice sounds they had and make them distorted. And,
completely mess them up.
Completely messed up.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. Have a good
Bye,
day,
guys.
everybody.
See ya.